Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another Slimming World update. So how is everybody doing? How is everybody getting on their diet plans, Slimming World plans, keto diets? Is everybody managing okay? Are we past the struggling stage? Are we killing our partners in lockdown? It's easing. It's going to be easing soon. On Thursday, in Scotland anyway, we are allowed to meet up with one other person from another household outside, as long as we still remain 6 feet apart, as long as we still observe social distancing. So I'm kind of looking forward to that actually, because the one person I have not seen in the whole of this lockdown period is my dad, and I flipping miss his face. I spoke to him a lot on the phone. In fact, last night we were on the phone for a good couple of hours, blethering away and making plans for after lockdown. But I've seen my stepmom and I've seen their dog because I've dropped off some shopping and that for them. But I've just not seen my dad because he's been at work. He works for the NHS, so he's a key worker. So I haven't seen him when I've been at their house dropping things off and that. I've seen my granny, I've seen my mum, my stepdad, all my siblings, apart from my big brother actually. But I don't see him that often anyway, so this little gap in not seeing each other hasn't had much of an effect on that relationship. But my dad miss his flipping face and I can't wait to see it. We're going to go and see him on Saturday, meet him at the park, him with his dog, me and Ali. And that's the other thing, Ali and my dad are so close. They are missing each other a lot. They miss each other loads. I know my dad misses Ali a lot, and I know Ali's missing my dad a lot. And it's not the same for them speaking on the phone and all that. They're definitely face-to-face talkers. Well, Ali is. He's a teenager. He doesn't know how to speak on the phone unless it's through Snapchat. Anyway, what a load of blethering. Same as usual with me. So I thought I'd better pop on here and give you guys a little Slimming World update. Let you know how I'm doing since I managed to get back on plan. Well, since my proclamation to get back on plan a couple of weeks ago. So as of today, I have been on plan for just over 2 weeks. And I've got to say, I am doing really well. I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but I am doing really well. I feel like I've had a whole new lease of life this time round, from like, you know, starting again after Christmas and things like that. Like, I feel I was ready. After Christmas, I was actually ready to get back on plan. I felt really gross and sluggish and, oh, I need to start eating healthy again because I just don't feel good. I felt like that after Christmas and I got back on it, but I now realise that my head wasn't 100% in the game when I got back on plan after Christmas, because this time around, I have just been attacking Slimming World like nothing on earth. It feels like I've just started all over again, like the very first time I started last year. It just feels like that, like, you know, when you're like pumped up and ready to go and lose all the weight and everything. That's what I feel this time, and I didn't feel that at Christmas. At Christmas, I was just like, right, I'm going to get back on plan, and I done it, but I wasn't properly in the game then. I didn't have the same kind of oomph that I have now when I'm coming to planning meals and snacks and I don't know why that was, because I genuinely did think at Christmas, in January, after Christmas, that my head was in it, but I just don't think it was, or it was, but just not as much as it is now. And I think that's why for the first part of this year I have had such a struggle with it as well, and it's been so easy for me just to switch off when something's happened, like my granny going into hospital, coronavirus kicking off. It's just been so easy for me to switch off, and that's the bit that I've been annoyed at myself with, how easy it was to switch off and go, fake it, I'm not doing Slimming World at the minute. But this time I genuinely do feel right now, even if I did get news like my granny's back in hospital or something's happened, I do feel that I would manage to stick to plan a lot better than I have for the first few months of this year. If that makes any sense to you guys. I don't know if it does. I just feel my head's more screwed on to the Slimming World thing now than it has been for a while actually, probably even before Christmas. And I say that because when you get into the way of Slimming World and thinking like Slimming World, you're doing it for a few months and you're at go, go, go. And I just think my head got a little bit, I just think I got a little bit complacent with it. It was literally the same things over and over and over again. And that's what I've loved this time around. I have done a lot more research than I was doing before. I'm not relying on the same meals constantly. I mean, there's always my staple meals that I'll have with Slimming World. The Mayflower curry and the katsu curry and my chicken fried rice. Always have those kind of meals. But for it, actually, I'm not even talking just about meals. I'm more talking about breakfasts and lunches and stuff like that. I would just revert to the same kind of thing, which would normally be something to do with eggs or soup, some sort of soup. But I am being a little bit more switching it up a bit. I'm having different things all the time, and I don't just mean my New York club day in, day out. I'm having lots of different things. So yeah, it's going good. It's going good, guys. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's going good. I've got a new zest for my Slimming World life, and I'm feeling good. I have not been 100% on plan that whole time though, and I don't think I mentioned it in the video that I done telling you guys that I was getting back on plan. But you know, I'm doing homeschooling and everything now, and I've been thinking about ways to keep Ali entertained, keep him occupied, give him little projects and stuff, which has been going quite well, but some days I'm struggling. Anyway, I gave him this little task, and this was set before I restarted, or just in fact, it was literally set the day before I decided to restart Slimming World. So I gave him this little task of preparing, shopping for and cooking a 3-course meal for me and Mark, and him obviously, within a budget of £20. This was his little project for that week, and I set him that on like the Thursday night, and he was going to cook it on the following Friday once he'd had time to prepare for it and then go do the shopping. He had to do the shopping himself. Mark went with him to do the shopping, and he had to cook it. It could have been anything. I said to him, it can be anything you want. It could literally be a pot noodle, fish fingers, anything, but you've got to prepare a 3-course meal for all of us. And the whole idea came about because Ali's actually quite interested in cooking and stuff, and he's thinking about maybe going and training to be a chef when he's older. I mean, his mind changes like a wind. He's going to train and be a chef if the whole wrestler or footballer thing doesn't work out, I should say. Yeah, so I want to encourage things like that, and you obviously will see a lot of him in the kitchen with me videos, and that's me just encouraging him to be like cooking and stuff and teaching him some life skills. And it's things that my mum used to do with all of us when we were younger. We all used to have little meals that we would make. I think one of my brothers made a Frankfurter stew, and it was literally just like hot dogs and sweet corn, tins of beans, tins of chopped tomatoes, all bunged in a pot with some herbs, and that was his meal that he made. And so we'd planned this. We'd planned Ali's meal for the following Friday, which would have been the Friday after I got back on plan. And I was like, oh, toying with the idea, saying, oh, let's make it Slimming World, Ali, blah, 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 blah. But that's not fair to him. That is not fair to him. So I didn't want to put too much pressure on. Come on, Ali, make it Slimming World 12-year-old. No, I decided not to do that. I was also toying with the idea of just leaving out, because he decided to make corn dogs for starters, and then, well, he didn't make them, he got them frozen and put them in the oven. And then he made like lamb kebabs and broccoli and crispy potatoes for main course. So these lamb kebabs, I think they're like 2 cents each, maybe 2.5 cents each. We've had them before on when I've been eating Slimming World food. So I could have had the kebabs and the broccoli and just left the potatoes and the corn dogs and all that. And I tentatively suggested this to him, but he was so disappointed. He's like, no, Mum, you've got to eat the whole meal, because how are you going to mark me out of 10 if you don't eat the whole meal? So I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to call it a cheat meal. It was literally just that meal because my son cooked it, and I flipping enjoyed every morsel of it, even the corn dogs, which aren't really my thing, but because it was so lovingly made by Ali, he literally sat in front of the oven and waited for the things to cook. It was a cute, actually, I have a picture of it. If I can put it in, I will put it in right now, because it was so cute. He just literally sat in front of the oven and waited for his stuff to cook. So that was the only sort of cheat thing that I had, and it was sort of planned before I went back on Slimming World. So I'm not going to beat myself up too much about it. It was literally just that one little meal, and I was able to get back on plan the next day or even that evening. Like because I knew I'd had a lot of sins and I was feeling a little bit peckish later on that night at like midnight or something, I just had some fruit. I didn't want to eat anything that was sinful or that, so I just had fruit. But that was the only cheat thing that I've sort of had in the last couple of weeks. There's been nothing else, and for the next couple of weeks as well, I've got nothing else planned that will take me off plan. One thing that I have been doing since I started back on plan this time around is I have been literally writing everything down that I've been eating, everything. If it goes in this mouth, it gets written down. Like I write coffees down, I write teas, even Irn-Bru, even though that's free, I write everything down. Even if I'm doing a sandwich, I write every last thing that is on that sandwich. The mayo, the mustard, the pastrami, the pickled gherkins, the lettuce, any other salad stuff that I add to it. Everything is written down, and it's all written in like, if it's my speed, if it's got sins, if it's healthy extra, if it's just free, whatever, I write everything down. And I'm finding it so useful, because before I was like I think I'd done a good job of remembering everything in my head, but there's some stuff you're like, you do just genuinely forget. Like, you used a sin for mustard, and if you have this packet of crisps, it's going to take you over your sins today because you've just forgot that one sin for the mustard. And I am finding it useful. I'm also realising, I knew I drank a lot of coffee, and I think maybe a lot of the coffee intake that I've got now is because I'm in the house constantly due to lockdown, and it's pretty scary how I've had to like literally draw the line, because the first day I was like, I'd give myself an allowance of 7 cups of coffee a day based on my Milk Healthy Extra A allowances. And that is all the sins that I want to use for sugar as well. So I can use sins for other stuff, meals and snacks and that. So my limit is 7, but the first couple of days, I was at 7 cups of coffee by like tea time. And I usually have a couple of cups at least after tea time, or tea anyway. And I was like, oh my God, how the hell am I drinking that much coffee? I'm literally like, no wonder I'm going to the toilet constantly, which I am, constantly peeing because I'm constantly drinking coffee. I was also amazed at actually how much Irn-Bru I didn't drink. I thought I was drinking so much more Irn-Bru than I was on lockdown, and I'm only drinking 2 to 3 cans a day, which is pretty average actually. It's the coffee that scares me, and I've been trying to sort that out. I'm not there yet. I'm nowhere near there yet. But what I've been trying to do is, well, at first I was like, right, I need to get back on the almond milk for a start. And then I was like, oh, I don't really want to do that after the whole experience that had with bits in it. I know the bits are probably meant to be there, but it just reminds me of milk that's turned sour and it curdles in your coffee. That's what it reminded me, and that's just put me off almond milk. I did buy a carton, but at the same time, this is when I was out doing shopping for my mum. I bought a carton of almond milk, and then I also bought a carton of soy milk to try, because I think I've tried soy milk, but I can't remember if I liked it or not. So I thought, right, I'm going to try the soy milk, and if I don't get on with that, then I'll just have the almond milk. And actually, the almond milk's still sitting in my fridge. It's probably gone bad now. I should really chuck it out. But I really actually prefer the soy milk to the almond milk a lot more than the almond milk actually. It has a nice little creamy taste to it, which I'm not really overly fond of in milk, but I think it makes a lot of a difference to coffee than the almond milk. Almond milk's quite watery. It does taste nice, but it's quite watery, and it doesn't feel like you've got a lot of milk in your coffee at all. But soy milk is different. It's like in between almond milk and skimmed milk. So I've been trying to get on board with the whole soy. My preference is always going to be actual milk with sugar, 1 sugar in my coffee. That's always going to be it. So I've been trying to be better though. I've been trying to use only regular milk and sugar in the morning when I have my first coffee of the day, maybe my coffee after tea time as well. But for the rest of the day, I'm trying to just drink soy milk and sugar, or actually a combination, which I do have now, is soy milk and sweetener. I need to stop using all these sins and sugar. See, I can't decide if I want to stop wasting both my healthy extra A's on the milk for coffee, or if I want to stop wasting all the sins for the sugars in my coffee. I'm like trying to sort it all out so I'm not using all these things and I can use it for other stuff, like cheese. Because I do miss cheese and I'm having to sin my cheese and I don't like it because it's a lot of sins for cheese. It's easier if you can just use it as your healthy extra A, it's better. So I'm juggling at the minute, basically. I'm juggling my coffees at the minute. Sometimes I'll have, well, I am trying to stick to just a regular coffee with regular milk, skimmed milk. Sorry, it's semi-skimmed milk because it's the stuff that Ali uses. Semi-skimmed milk and 1 sugar in the morning, and after tea, sometimes, only sometimes that one though. And the rest of the day, I'm going between a regular coffee with soy milk and either sugar or sweetener. Here's the thing though, I don't mind a coffee with soy milk and sugar, and I don't mind a coffee with regular milk and sweetener. It's the ones with soy milk and sweetener that I'm struggling with, and I really have to decide what's more important, the milk or the sweetener, because then I can still keep using my healthy extra A's on the milk, but just switch to sweetener. And really for my teeth, which are actually okay at the minute, but you know, had issues last year, I really should switch to the sweetener. And I thought it was going to be a lot easier to switch to sweetener once I'd switched. I mean, I am switched onto the sugar-free Irn-Bru. I have been on sugar-free Irn-Bru since January 2019. So why can't I switch to the sweetener? I have no idea. So that's an ongoing struggle at the minute. So in the last video, I did say that I'm not going to step on the scales until I think it's the 6th of June. And I got to like halfway through the first week, maybe not even halfway through, I think it was a Tuesday the first week, and I was like, but how am I going to know when it gets to the 6th of June if I have lost weight or not? I need to step on the scales and just give myself a guideline. Just do it randomly, give myself a guideline, and at least by the 6th of June I'll know where I am. So I think it was the Tuesday, about 7 o'clock at night, literally just after I'd had my tea, and I was like, I'm just going to step on these scales and see where I am. I knew it wouldn't be very accurate. I literally just had my dinner. I usually weigh myself on a Saturday morning between 8 and 9 before I've even eaten, or before I've even had my first coffee of the day actually. Before anything's in my body, everything for the day before's all been digested, I went to the bathroom, blah de blah de blah. That's usually when I weigh myself. But this was a Tuesday right after I'd eaten. I'd been eating all day. I'd drank a tank worth of coffee by then. So I knew it wasn't going to be accurate in that sense, but I just wanted to know, I just wanted to give myself a guideline. And I stepped on a scale, got a bit of a shock, but then I remembered it's not going to be 100% accurate because of all the reasons just listed. And the scale said that I was at my heaviest that I've been for a long time. Like, I checked back on my diary and it said that I was round about that weight in September last year. So I was like, I flipping hope this isn't accurate. Like, this better not be accurate, because it was a shock to see how much I'd put on. I knew I'd gained weight. I wasn't expecting not to have gained anything. I knew I would have gained weight. For a start, my clothes were all getting tighter and tighter again, and I was just feeling heavier. Does anybody else know what I'm talking about when I say it? You just feel heavier when you're not on plan. So I wasn't under any sort of illusion, but I was quite shocked to see the number that was on the scale, and I think that actually gave me another push to be like, let's smash it. I did do that there. So it gave me a general ballpark idea of where I was 2 weeks ago this was. And when I come to weigh myself properly, on the 6th of June, I will know where I am with regards to the weight that I've gained and that. Because I was thinking I could step on the scale on the 6th of June and I'll be I'll still weigh more than I did at my last proper weigh-in, my last official weigh-in, and that would be gutting because I would be like, I thought I'd lost it all. But even if I am more on the 6th of June than I was at my last official weigh-in, at least I know that I will have lost weight because I've done that unofficial weigh-in 2 weeks ago. I had my general ballpark idea of how much I need to lose, if that makes sense. I say that a lot, don't I? If that makes sense, am I explaining myself very well? I have been sort of tempted to step on the scales, but then I've also been like, I don't need to step on the scales because I do feel better. I already feel better. My clothes are already looser. My energy levels are up. I don't feel so sluggish. I feel great, actually. I mean, it's coming up to time of the month, so I'm feeling a little bit more bloated and whatever, but I know that's just the time of the month. It's nothing to do with Slimming World or what I'm eating, because I'm eating great healthy food. I think I've been really good with all my vegetables and my fruit, all the fruit intake that I have had, because before I was buying fruit and not eating as much as I should have been. Like, I'm talking towards the end of 2019, but I have been really good with it. Like, if I'm hungry and I want something to eat, and it's not like lunch, dinner, breakfast, lunch or dinner time, I do think, what fruit is there in the fridge? What can I have? And I do have fruit. And even if I do have, maybe, because I've had Lawson crisps, pink and whites, Fibre One bars, even if I do want something like that, I'll always make sure that I have it with some fruit. Or even tomatoes. I love just grabbing handfuls of tomatoes and cucumber and all that. I have tried to make sure that I've been getting like more fruit and veg in. And I know that probably won't always be that way. It's just because I'm so psyched about being back on plan and eating healthy, and I'm determined to smash my target this year. And I know I'll go through, I do know that I'll maybe go through a stage where I can't be bothered to eat any fruit or vegetables. So while I'm feeling so great about it, I'm making sure that I'm getting it all in while I want to. That's literally all I have to talk about today, guys. There's not anything that newsworthy going on. I just wanted to let you guys know that I'm still doing great on plan, and I'm still smashing it, and I'm still psyched to smash target. I want to get it this year. Was it Fiona? Oh, there's a alarm. I think it was Fiona that said September for when I would reach my target. So that gives me June, July, August. That gives me 4 months to lose this last stone or so. I need to do it. I need to do it. I am determined to do it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time.